If you would have asked me a year ago today, I never would have thought that I would be 4 months into my loc journey by now, but really enjoying the process, and so I want to keep you all updated on everything. What's up, y'all? I'm Courtney. Welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'll be giving you a 4-month update on my locks. Actually had a style at the beginning of this video, and you'll see me just kind of take it out and explain as I'm doing that. Make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, and all of that good stuff. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them below, and definitely check out the description box for any products that I use. But we'll get right into this 4-month update. I've had this in for a couple of days, but before that, my last video, I showed you the bantu knots that I had done. And I kept those in for probably about a week and a half or so. I just want to first show you what they look like. I'll also insert a picture right over here. In that picture, you'll be able to see that a lot of the 2-strand twist look that I had when I first started, a lot of that is going away. Now, if you look closely at my locks, you can definitely see that I started with 2-strand twists. Some of that is still there, and even, you know, you can see that some of them kind of have space to come apart, but it would definitely take some work. But for the most part, that 2-strand twist look that I had is pretty much going away. That's typically what I tell my clients too when they're kind of torn between 2-strand twists and coils. Over time, they start to look the same. You know, it only matters in the beginning because after a while, you won't even be able to tell. So I was thinking that I was like closer to the 5-month mark, but I'm definitely closer to 4 months. My locks are definitely budding. Because I'm taking them out of the style, they're going to appear a lot thinner than they are, of course, when they're wet. Budding typically just means that the lock is becoming solid, you know, kind of all around, and it will take actual combing and like a really long process to take them out. I mean, they're locks now, you know. I feel very comfortable calling them locks. I obviously still say starter locks because we're pretty new. In the beginning, I was a little bit nervous about the interlocking that I had gotten, I think, twice. I didn't know if it would make my locks look smaller, as I've already explained in other videos as well. I wanted my locks initially to be bigger than this. However, the stylist who installed them just made them a little bit smaller than I expected, and that's okay. I've grown to really love the size that I have, and I'm really excited to see how they grow out. But they have gotten just a little bit thicker because I've switched over to palm roll instead of interlocking. Now, if I had kept on interlocking, my locks would just get smaller and smaller, but that's not something that I'm looking to do. I usually see the thickness a lot when I'm washing them, of course, because they kind of swell up. Well, some of my locks are just a tad small. I'll show you a couple of them. I've already considered combining like this one. This one is pretty small at the root. Every time I retwist, it just seems like it'll just keep getting smaller. So I'm considering combining that with the one that's next to it that is actually also pretty small. It's not like they're going to snap or break off anytime soon, so I'm not really worried too much about combining them as soon as possible, but that's just something that's been on my mind. Since the last time I did my retwist, I was able to kind of really see the size of each of my locks. I want to say there are a couple kind of scattered throughout, but for the most part they're pretty uniform in size. Just as a pro tip, as a loctician, I recommend waiting a little bit if that lock doesn't appear to be about to fall off, or, you know, if the lock on it is not too heavy. You can go ahead and just wait and see if the lock could possibly thicken up on its own. My scalp is feeling like, woo sis, yes, you just gave me a break. While styles just make like day-to-day life easier with locks, sometimes they just apply too much tension, and being as though I came straight from the bantu knots, I didn't want to keep the styling that I had yesterday for too long. So I also want to make sure that my edges are remaining thick and healthy. Nothing's worth losing my edges, honestly. I'm also going to give you a quick length check. So I'll do a side-by-side. Like a few days in, I'll give you that video side by side to this one. And then I think I had pulled another one from up at the top. Just a quick lens check. It's actually pretty long. Let's see if I start at the bottom. It's coming to my knuckle. So my regimen, pretty much the same as what I mentioned in my all about my starter locks. I do a lot of moisturizing and sealing. That's just my go-to. It's what I recommend to everybody with loose hair or locks. I moisturize and seal with Fortune products, of course. That's my line of hair care products. My favorite products right now are Ooh Baby and Believe It's Butter Still. As I'm at work, sometimes if I just have extra product and I feel that my hair is a little dry, I'll just go ahead and like moisturize my hair while I'm at the shop. So that's typically like every day, every other day, because I'm there so often, and that just helps me to remember to moisturize my hair, because I'm like looking in the mirror and, you know, moisturizing other people's hair. So I kind of just tend to go ahead and just do my own real quick. So let me zoom in a little bit. So when you get out of a style, your hair is pretty stretched. This is how they're looking straight out of that style. I almost likely just tie like a scarf on here just to lay some of these flyaway ones at the top before I leave out. Yeah, so I use Fortune products. They've been doing everything that I need them to do. Don't really feel like I need to use anything else because it actually gets the job done. Right now, they're soft to the touch. It's not super greasy, but you know, here it is. I have not moisturized my hair probably for like a good 3 days or so right now. I'm definitely going to do a do's and don'ts about starter locks. I see that those videos are pretty popular, but I know as a loctician, I'll be able to give a little bit more insight, and I'm constantly giving people tips about their locks. One of the main things for me has been just making sure that I'm not applying too much tension. It is so easy for our hair to kind of get brittle and break, and when you have locks instead of loose hair, it's a little bit harder to hide shorter pieces, harder to style when you have little pieces here and there that are kind of weak or broken off. So I want to make sure that my locks are as healthy as possible all the time. That's my 4-month update. I'm going to keep it very short and sweet, and I'll catch you on my next video.